welcome to another episode of Shooting
the Shit with Rachel
and Neal Young. We're talking all things real estate photography business growth, mindset, and getting it done. Here come your favorite true entrepreneurs, Rachel and Neal Young, shooting the shit.
I have a ferret on the Like if we're kind of in a slump, like what kind of things do you do?
Talking about a boob light.
Straddling a power line.
Nice photo.
Ooh, I need that.
I'm like red right now because I'm embarrassed. I go like this. I love it.
Come in.
Sure, use your podcast voice.
Over here, I'm pitting out.
Drone's like flipping to the ground.
That's a great callback.
Chit-chatting.
Is that what you call that?
Hey! Rach, who do you love?
HD Photo Hub.
Today's episode is brought to you by HD Photo Hub.
The platform real estate photographers trust.
And so do we, because Rach and I both use it on a daily basis.
Check it out.
Check it out. Welcome back to Shooting the Shit. Today, Rach and I want to talk to you about our plans for the slow season.
That dreaded winter slow season.
It's coming.
No, it's like here. I mean, really.
Yeah.
No, I feel like after Thanksgiving, that's when it really just comes to a screeching halt. I mean, there's some jobs that trickle in, but December for us is usually first week is okay. And then after that, it's pretty much like 4 weeks of pretty quiet time. So it gives you, I actually really have come to love the slow season personally. I don't dread it like I used to.
Well, so long as you can survive it. Once you get to a point, I'm sure you're in your business, you've done it enough times, you're like, I know I'll survive. Then it's not as big a deal. And then you start refocusing and going, all right, this is my chance to accomplish some things. I think like mid-November is for everybody else, like January 1, they're like, I'm going to the gym this year and I'm doing this. We're going to start thinking about it as soon as the holidays are hitting, basically.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I think part of this business, which most of you already know this, but if you don't, you should be saving all year for about 3 months of very little work. So every month, just throw, 10, 20% of whatever you're making and put that into a separate account just for your slow season, just for your savings. Because I can't tell you how many months I've actually relied on that money to pay my bills, and by having that in a bank, you just have that peace of mind. Like even if the work doesn't come for some reason, you're going to be okay. You don't have to go get another job. You don't got to worry about it or stress about it, rack up your credit cards. Like you just have that little bit of a cushion to get you through.
Yeah. And if you didn't do that already, and here we are, then you might have to get another job, and that's all right.
Or add a
seasonal
service.
jobs. Add a service. But there's nothing also, I swear, there's nothing wrong with being an Uber driver or doing Grubhub or whatever to get you through the winter. Do what you got to do to stay afloat. But there are other things that you can do as well in tandem to your regular business to keep you afloat, which Rachel and I both do some of that. And this year, we're planning on some additional stuff that we're trying to do to get, things rolling with our studio space and stuff like that a little bit further, and hoping that will help through the winter as well.
Yeah. So today's podcast, we're just going to talk about what we're going to do because we briefly touched on this earlier today, and we're like, this could make a good podcast episode. We should talk about that. Yeah,
we're totally winging it.
Yeah, we're hoping to inspire you guys with some ideas of what you guys can do. You can steal any of these ideas if you want. It might just kind of get your wheels turning. But the point of this is to just kind of inspire you and motivate you to push forward with some kind of plan. I think I said this on the last podcast, talked about how I was on a cleanse and I was like taking in 850 calories a day and exercising, just barely making it for 16 days. I completed that cleanse and now I'm on phase 2, which is about 1,550 calories. I'm doing a lot harder workouts, but it's much more sustainable. I'm eating 6 times a day. Anyways, I'm sticking to it. I've been doing this now for, I think I'm on day 9 of phase 2. So it's almost been a full month that I've been on this meal plan, which is shocking because I've never committed to a diet in my life. I haven't really had to, for one. Don't hate me. I'm skinny, but I really just want to get more fit. I want to put on more lean muscle and just feel better. So here's the point of me telling you this whole spiel. The goals in your business and everything you have in your life is no different than just sticking to this meal plan. It's simple. It's so simple. I have a plan that I have to follow to get to my end goal. My end goal is to be freaking shredded by summer. and to get down to 14% body fat. I'm at 20.6. So I want to be down to between 14 and 16. And I want to have a lot more muscle on my body because I don't have very much lean muscle. I'm
Mm.
lacking in that. I'm just skinny. I'm skinny fat. So
Well, while we're
fix that.
while we're talking about this, I literally just listened to this really cool episode on YouTube. This guy talking all about lean muscle and how it's so important for your longevity. Lean muscle, build muscle and maintain muscle. If you're doing, and he was saying you don't have to be going to the gym. You don't have to be a gym rat. If you're just working out 2 or 3 times a week and for a total of even just an hour or 2 hours total for the week, you're doing huge benefits for the longevity and sustainability of you living and being still active, not just alive, but in like a good way living.
Yeah.
So I
And
was like,
like I went and got a DEXA scan, which is like measures your bone density, your visceral
mm,
fat, which is the fat around your stomach, the fat in your arms and legs, your body fat, obviously, your lean muscle mass percentage. And I was shocked, like my bone density was a little bit low. They have a scale, it's like green, yellow, red. And mine was like just in the yellow. So it's not terrible. But I'm like, I have been lifting weights my whole life. I've been going to the gym and lifting pretty much since I was a teenager, and I have low bone density. I'm like, could just be diet because I've been eating like crap. So,
mm,
anyways, that's one thing I got to work on. And then I just want to put on more lean muscle, just so I'm stronger. It just helps protects all your joints and ligaments and everything, and helps you,
yeah.
like you're saying, live longer and be just feel better all around. So basically, this plan that I'm sticking to is going to get me to my end goal, right? And it's no different than any other goal you have in your life. Like
Mm,
if you want to double your business next year, okay, great. That's a great goal to have. Now, what do you need to do to get there? What are the
mm,
steps that you need to take every day or every week in order to get that much closer to your goal? Because you're not just magically going to get there if you set it. You need to set up some actions that you're going to take every week to make sure that you're on course to get to that goal. And, goals like that with this business are tough. My assistant and I were talking today about that because she was like, well, where do you want to go with the business? How, because I keep saying I want to double the business, and then I like panic and pull back and I'm like, no, because that's just like more money, more problems, more shooters, more problems. It's just more staff. It's like, and then I'm like, no, this is the whole reason why I hired mentors this year, was to push me and help me get there. So let's do it. The goal for me is to not shoot anymore. I need one more full-time shooter in order to accomplish that goal. Right. So I'm
oh,
like, there's something in my brain, something in my programming that freaks me out about growing. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. But there's something in there and it's holding me back. So I'm going to discover that and figure that out hopefully this weekend. But anyways, we've got to just set these goals and get to, track what we want to do. So like my goal, if I want to double the business, we have a lot of work to do in the slow season. We have a
mm,
lot of marketing that we need to do and a lot of outreach. And we've got some really good ideas of what we can do this winter to get there. So we will dive into some of those today if my cat doesn't knock over my light. Let me go move the kitty out of the room. She's crazy. I wish you could see this right now.
oh,
She's
really?
trying to jump on my lantern light. Hang on. This could be
Oh,
bad.
wow.
Okay. Back to the podcast. Sorry, y'all. But anyways, yeah. So my assistant and I were talking about the goals that we want to reach, and we are setting up a meeting. We have a meeting already set in our calendar for next week to talk about it and to start moving forward with some of these ideas that we have for the slow season, and how I can reach that goal of getting another full-time shooter and getting more clients on board with us. But part of it, like part of the thing that she was telling me, is that this business is unpredictable. Like you can't predict the market. And the last
Mm,
2 years have been slow, like really slow for real estate. And it's gotten a
mm,
little bit busier this year. And the numbers, at least in my area, have gone up about 5 to 10% over last year, maybe 20% over last year, which is pretty good. But you can't predict what the market's going to do. If it falls out and there's just no listings, that's not your fault. You can't take the blame on
yeah.
that. It just is what the market is. There's only so many listings for us to scoop up and help
Yeah.
people with, right? So yeah, just give yourself grace and know that too. That's part of it. So she kind of, I don't know, just brought that to my attention today and was like, well, it's not all, you've done a lot of marketing, but the market's just kind of slow. And I'm like, yeah, but with the growth that we've done from last year to this year and the percentage of growth in listings in our area, we are on track where we've been keeping up. We have the same amount of income coming in that's comparable to the growth that's happening within the real estate world. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
Yeah. So
Yep.
I'm not seeing a big increase in our numbers. She's like, well, you
Yeah.
don't want to grow too fast because you won't be able to keep up. And I was like, well, that's
Right.
true. Because that
That is
happened
true.
during COVID and that was awful.
That's
And we
scary.
couldn't keep up. And the
Yeah.
reputation kind of got trashed for that. So, anyways, there's a lot that plays into this business. So it's not all under your control, but you can do as much as possible, especially right now during the slower season, to ramp up, to get your pricing dialed in, to get your
Yeah.
marketing, figure out what your plan is so that you're set up for spring. And when spring hits, then it's go time. Like you've
Yeah.
already
And
done
that's
all the marketing. You're ready
one
to
of my to-dos that I know I should have done sooner, but haven't got around to still is I need to set up packages.
right?
I still
I'm
have a
like,
la carte.
how do you
Yeah.
not have packages, Neil?
Yeah.
I cannot even believe that.
Everybody, it
Go
works,
copy mine. Go
but
copy mine.
there's I just need to take the time and set it up. That might be a way to increase sales too, outside of just getting another shooter. There's some things you could do, new offerings or different ways to offer things that might get you more sales or other things to think about too. These packages will be a little bit cheaper than if you did them a la carte, so that maybe people will buy them more consistently and I make more money because maybe they only bought the regular photos, but then they see this package and think, oh, well, I could do that package and maybe I double my money that way. So there's
You
definitely some
definitely will.
strategic things you could do. Yeah.
Yes, you definitely will see an increase in your average order value when you have packages. And just so if any of you guys are going to implement this in the slow season, what I've done is I put the packages up top. We use HD Photo Hub, so the shopping cart, you can
Hmm.
have kind of like a title for that section, and that section is called curated packages. And then I
Mm.
have my you only need 3 packages. So just do 3. Start with your most expensive, your middle grade, and then your cheapest one at the end. So
Hmm.
they see it's like a psychological thing. If they see the most expensive one first, then when they see the cheaper ones, they're not so surprised when they see your cheapest one is $550 and they get drone and floor plan and stills, right? Or
Yep.
whatever you want to charge.
Yep.
And then with the packages too, if you want to roll in something for free, like, or list on the top of the package, like the works package, get a free property website and marketing kit, or save $75 when you do
Mm.
this package, or 100, whatever your discount's going to be for them to do that package,
Yeah.
list it on the top so they know what kind of savings they're going to get, or
Mm.
even a
That's a good
percentage,
point.
save
Now,
20%.
when you do your 3 packages, you're only showing 3 packages. So do you start with the question of what's the square footage, and then based on that, it populates the 3 packages rates?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So within HD Photo Hub, you can select if you charge by square footage, and we do. So they have to put in the address and the square footage. And as soon as they put that in, then it populates out all the services and it's
Yep.
just shows the prices for that square footage.
Good.
So,
Yeah, and that's what it does for my a la carte right now,
mhm.
but I wasn't sure on the packages if it was the same workflow. So, okay, cool.
Did you
Love
call
that.
it a la carte?
Yeah, a la carte. A la carte.
A la carte?
A la carte. A
A
la
la carte or
carte.
a la carte?
A la
Please.
carte is correct. Not Al. It's not like Al the person, but I
A
did
la
definitely
carte.
say it like that. It's not Al a carte.
That
It's
must be
a la
a New
carte.
Hampshire thing. I don't know.
I
Maybe
think
it's your
I think it's
accent.
me sound a little country. A la carte.
Got a little a la carte over here.
Little a la carte, y'all. Hi, I'm Al. A la
Yeah.
carte.
I had to call you out on it. Yeah. So after the curated packages section, then I have the a la carte section, and that's where I just list out photos, and there's add-ons that they can add to that, right? So they could do, when they pick the photography package, then it's going to populate open, which you can set this all up in HD Photo Hub shopping cart. It'll say like add on amenities, add on a mother-in-law suite, like add on drone photos, and then there's other sections where they can add on Matterport and all that stuff. So yeah,
Do
and
you do
then
an
they have.
sorry,
Oh, go
one
ahead.
quick question.
Yeah.
Do you do an a la carte, like an add-on charge for a la carte? Do you do an add-on charge for like highlighting local, like if you went to, they're like, could you take a
Yeah,
couple pictures
like
downtown?
community. Don't ask me
That's my
what we
question.
charge.
I don't charge for that, but I think I
You
should add
should.
that in too, because I do that sometimes. I just do it. I'm like, yeah, I'll do it, but I should probably add a fee for that. Yeah.
Yeah. We have an amenities charge too, and that's $35 for amenities. So that would be like some guy put that on the order yesterday. I did photos of a house and drone, and then the amenities, I only shot the park, which was literally within flying distance. So I got it with the drone. And then I shot the monument sign. And I'm like, I took it off his order because I'm like, I'm not charging him $35 for me to shoot that park. Like, that was not, to me, it's 2 or more. if I have to actually physically walk somewhere else and take extra photos, then it's worth,
Right. If
condos.
there's like a
Think condos,
clubhouse,
apartment
yeah.
buildings, like where you have to run up to the rooftop deck and do photos and then go down to the gym and then get the parking garage. That can take an extra 20, 30 minutes, honestly.
Right.
And when the brokers don't know where the heck they're going or the keys don't work, like I've seen it all, guys. It's been such a fun journey. But anyways, yeah. So definitely charging for community stuff because that's time and gas and effort and more
And
photos.
there you go.
So,
You're increasing your sales right there. Something you might not ever charge for like me. There you go.
exactly. So
Yeah, cool.
yeah, and green grass is a charge, even though they're not supposed to technically do that anymore.
Yeah, I haven't
it's
had
banned.
anybody ask about that in a while. That must be why. Yeah.
Yeah, they're putting the kibosh on it. Pretty soon they'll be like, you can't replace the sky.
I know, right?
Right. Like, we got to be politically correct. We can't say master bedroom anymore. We have to say primary. Okay, people. It's going too
Yeah,
far. No.
I know. Yeah, I know. It's like, do we have to get rid of master lock?
Oh,
Because they use those on the door all the time.
yeah, you're right. You're right.
You know what I mean?
So setting up your shopping cart is a good one to do during slow season and updating your pricing. Like I would go in, you should be raising your prices 3 to 5% every year. Like every small business should. And the new year is a great time to do that because everybody expects it. It's just when everyone does it. So, and you're slow and it takes forever to update your shopping cart. Well, at least me, because I have a zillion square footage things
Yeah,
because we do it
there's a
every
lot.
500 square feet. So it's a lot of work. Like,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. And it's one of those things that I'm like super anal about. So I just do it myself. I could have my VA do it, but I'm like, nope. I need to make sure it's done right. I'm going to be controlling over this and I'll just spend an afternoon doing it. It's fine.
Yeah, it does stink when you realize, like, oh my gosh, how long has this square footage been like cheaper than the
Right?
tier above it for since like I updated this 6 months ago? Ugh.
Dang
Yeah,
it. Could have made so much more money.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
shopping carts are good. What else? What are you doing? What else are you doing besides
Mm.
putting
Okay,
together
so
packages?
since we have the studio space, I am excited about the idea of doing a podcast with my realtors, highlighting the realtors and kind of like what they're about, not just like let's talk all things real estate, but let's talk about them, really highlighting the agent. So I'm going to do that in the studio. I think I've already mentioned it to a couple agents and they seem excited about the idea. We're going to have a little fun with it. So that's not going to be a direct income thing. I'm actually not considering charging. I think that maybe if there are eventually realtors that want to be on the show, if it goes well, and realtors I don't work with want to be on the show, I would charge them. But for my realtors that I work with, I'm just doing this as like a bonus and a relationship builder. Maybe I might do an upcharge if maybe I'll supply a reel from it, or maybe I won't, and I'll say, hey, if you want reels out of this, there's a fee for that, which I probably would do because there'd be editing costs. So I'm still ironing it all out, but
Okay,
yeah.
can I interject and just give you my 2 cents?
Yes.
Because I'm the businesswoman.
Go.
Okay, give it for free to your
Yep.
2 or 3 favorite agents and just
Mm.
work out the kinks and
Mm.
then promote it to your clients. Promote it on social media. Call your clients, be like, hey, I have this awesome new service that I'm doing. I'd love to get you in the studio. It's normally $1,500, but I'm doing it. I'll do it for you for $750 because you're such a good client.
Yeah.
And give them the long form so you can use the long form on YouTube. Because everyone's trying to build out YouTube right now. And then and then I'll give you 6 shorts that I will cut out for you and add captions to, and you can add those to social media.
Yeah,
They'll
for
be
sure.
like,
If I'm going to do a bunch of editing like that, then I got to charge for that. Yeah.
yeah, and shorts aren't hard to pull. I mean, really, it's like you timestamp it. We do it for the podcast. You just
Yeah.
listen, you timestamp, you send it to your VA, and they do
Yeah,
it for
but
you.
I pay my VA, so there's no way I'm not giving away stuff for free, so I have
Right.
to charge. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's, even if you did $500 an episode, that's not bad. They'd be thrilled to have. And the ideas that you have told me that you're going to do with them are genius. It's going to be
Yeah,
really
it's
fun.
gonna be
I'm
fun.
excited.
Yeah.
So there's definitely going to be gold in there that they need to share.
Yeah. No, I
So,
think
and then,
that is true. Once they
yeah.
see it and once they see other agents doing it, and they'll probably be like, "Oh, I would like to do that." So,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
I
you
like
could
that.
start for $300. It doesn't have to be crazy expensive. I think
Hmm.
you could easily get 1,000 because you've got the legit setup. You know what you're doing, you know?
Yeah, I want to standardize it too so that it's the same thing every time so that my editor will know kind of what to do every time.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's going to have kind of standard format to it. And yeah, I think that's a great idea. And this is why I reached out to you in the first place. Rachel was like, we should do a podcast.
Oh, okay. 7 days later, we're podcasting. Still never
Listen,
met in person, but that's about to
no,
change in 3
it's about to
weeks,
change.
Neal.
It's coming. It's coming, Vegas, baby.
I hope I
That's
still
right.
like you after we meet in person.
Oh, it's gonna be. It's the end of the podcast. She's gonna be.
We just can't do it
gonna.
anymore.
We're either gonna be like, this is amazing, or we're gonna be like, okay, 30 minutes tops in the same room, and then we just got to take a break.
Oh, Neal, we're going to get along great. I already know it.
No, it'll be good.
It's
It'll be
just
good.
fun to think about.
It's gonna
So
be
crazy.
fun.
I know.
Yeah,
It'll be like 3 years
it'll-
in March. I think
Is that right?
since
It's
we've
gonna be 3
started the
years.
podcast. Yeah. So it's been about 2.5 years.
Really?
Over 2.5
Wow, that's crazy. I can't believe
Mhm.
it's been that long already. No, it's gonna be totally awkward at first. I like high five it.
Yeah. Now we're hugging, obviously. Coming
I'm
in.
I'm a high fiver, Rich. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
I'm just kidding. I'm a total hugger. I'm a total hugger. I hug everybody. First time I even meet people, I'm just I'm like, oh, sorry. You cool with that? I totally already did it, but hopefully you're cool with it.
You're that awkward hugger guy.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, sorry. Some people like freeze up. They're like, what's happening to me?
Personal space.
Yeah. Have you not heard of personal space, Neal? Sorry, I did hear of it, but I'm still figuring it out.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
Oh my God. It's
Okay,
gonna be
well,
fun. I can't wait for Vegas. PMRE guys, you gotta go.
Yes,
And we're gonna have an
yes.
episode after at least about PMRE. So
Yeah.
If not during, maybe. Some
No, we're not
highlights
podcasting during.
live.
There's way too much to do. I'm telling you.
Going
No.
live on
Oh.
social media,
Oh, yeah.
something. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, we can
Yeah.
definitely do that. Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
go live on social. So follow us over at Shooting the Shit with Rach and Neal on Instagram and Facebook.
Heck yeah.
And we're on YouTube too if you ever want to watch our beautiful faces while we podcast. You can see kitties in the background and, I don't know
Yeah.
what else.
It's
That's
usually
about it.
split screen too. So you want to cover up my side of the screen, just throw a towel over your computer and you're fine.
Whatever. Oh, yeah.
Now they gotta tune in. They're like, what does he look like? My God.
So check it out there. We will definitely be going live from PMRE for sure. And
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
excited.
it'll be fun.
great.
It's gonna be a good time.
I haven't even seen the lineup of speakers or what's happening.
I have no clue.
I have no idea. I just know it's going to be great. Brandon always
Yeah.
does such a good job. He pulls it off every year. It'll be
I
fun.
keep hearing such great things about it, so I'm really excited. So
And there's gonna be lots of vendors there too, which is so fun. It's cool to be able to walk around and talk to them. And there's so many vendors that you don't even know,
Mm.
that even exist. And
Mm.
it's fun to be able to talk to all the reps and just get the ins and outs because there's lots of
Mm.
options out there for different things. So that's always a fun thing to check out.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's gonna be old hat for you, and I'm just gonna be like running around like a lunatic. Ooh, what's this? Ooh, what's
I
this?
know, like a kid in a candy store.
Kid in a candy store.
I'm like,
Yeah.
calm down, Neal.
Neal.
Save your energy.
Jesus.
We have a party tonight.
This is why we need a break every 30 minutes, Neal.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yes, I know.
Um,
It's going to be tough because I'm not drinking anymore.
Oh.
The first year I went to PMRE, I didn't drink alcohol because I quit drinking for 2 years. And then last
Mhm.
year, I drank excessively.
Doubled down.
I drank a lot. It was fun. This year, I'm not really sure. I'll probably, because I'm on this meal plan and I'm trying to stick to it. Well, I am sticking to it, but I'm definitely going to eat out I'm just going to make smart choices when I eat out. But it's really hard because it's like no salt on food,
Mm.
can't be cooked in oil. It's like basically plain Jane. I mean, we can use
Mm.
seasonings, but there's certain seasonings like Mrs. Dash has seasonings that don't have salt in them. So a
Wow.
lot of it and my snacks is like a lot of protein. It's like I'm consuming just a ton of protein. So I can bring snacks. I think dinner I'm going to order just something like sushi, or sashimi or something really clean, easy,
Mm.
healthy. But alcohol, I don't know. I might just do a glass of wine one night. Just live on the edge.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't get a cheat meal for 30 days on phase 2. And I'm like, I'll be almost at, actually, I might be on 30 days. Oh, maybe you will be okay.
Oh, there you go. I can only ever have really one drink anyway because I'm a lightweight. So
Especially after not drinking for a month and a half, I'm going to be like drunk off one glass of wine. But we'll
yeah.
see. I might just not drink. I'm fine. I'm almost better when I don't drink. I find that I have more confidence and I have almost more fun when I don't drink. But it's to getting to that mindset switch of like, I'm not drinking alcohol anymore.
yeah.
As soon as I can get there and flip it, it's like I am fully committed and good. It is my New Year's resolution, so I'm gonna drink.
Oh, really?
till New Year's. Yeah. But
Okay.
I'm not drinking on this cleanse thing, on this meal plan. So we'll see. Anyways, enough about that.
Yeah. So back to
Back to it.
what's top of your list for to-dos?
So I have a lot of things that I'm working on kind of
Mhm.
in the background that I really, really, really want to be able to not shoot in the spring.
Right. You're only one shooter away.
One shooter away.
Really. One shooter away.
Yeah. So Casey and
That's
I,
happening. That's
yeah,
so happening.
Casey and I are meeting next week. We're having a meeting about the Grow with Rach and Neal course,
Mhm.
our Instagram. She's going to
Yep.
help with the marketing efforts for that.
Oh,
So
all right. All
that is
right.
huge because that is going to bring in more income as well. Because the problem is, I honestly, I just don't make enough money to cover everything if I'm not shooting. And that's what I told
Right.
her. I'm like, here, it's kind of like the cat and mouse game, right? Like if I don't shoot, I don't have enough money. And I hired Casey full time and she's costing money. She's not producing any kind of income. So that's extra. And I've managed to make more this year than I did last year with her on full time. So I'm doing something right. We're getting more
Mhm.
clients, we're getting more shoots. But I definitely like, she's like, just take yourself off the schedule. And I'm like, I can't do that. I won't have enough to pay my bills. She goes, well, then you're never going to quit. She goes, you just have to rip off the Band-Aid. I'm like,
Oh,
take me off on
yeah.
Thursdays. I'll just work Monday through Wednesday. Because right now I'm on the schedule 4 days a week. I'm
Mm.
like, which
That's a good
Monday,
plan.
Tuesday are like half days, like 9 to 1. And then Wednesday is like 9 to 3. So not
Yeah.
even full days. But I also do portrait work and headshots and lifestyle stuff on the side,
Well, you could just
which
say that's all you're going to do is the
I know.
portraits and headshot stuff.
Yeah.
And leave yourself on the schedule 1 or 2 days. That's it
Yeah.
for
That's what
regular
I'm
stuff.
gonna get to. We just took off Thursday, so I'll sit there for a couple weeks and then we'll see. And we've been getting a lot of inquiries for headshots and lifestyle stuff. It's been great. And events. We started promoting events photography
Mm.
and that's taking off. So our marketing efforts for all this are working,
Maybe,
which
you
is
know
good.
what you might love? You're such a PR person.
Mhm.
Maybe on your day off, like maybe you just go on special bookings that are premier clients or they did the big package or whatever. Maybe you go on some of those
Yeah, that's
and,
not a bad idea.
you
Just
know?
and yeah, well, and that is part of what I want to do. So what I really enjoy doing, like what really lights me up is
Hmm.
working on creating reels, being on camera
Yeah.
and marketing. So one big thing we're going to do is try to get into more brokerages to do broker presentations. Casey's
Mhm.
going to help call all of our client list and see who we can get in with. We're going to start emailing and then we're going to call. And then so that will generate more clients. The two that I've done have brought us like 3 or 4 clients, if
Yeah.
not more. So it
Yeah.
works. So we'll be doing that. And then I've been shooting more events, which have been really good. So I want to continue. I just booked another one yesterday. So, and that's just a mastermind event with a brokerage and real producers. It's like a collaboration. So, and I'm just volunteering it. People, they aren't paying me to do these events. Like most of the events that I've done have been free, but I get the email list of the
Mm.
participants and I
Mm.
email them the gallery and I give them a promo code to use us. And I'm like, hey. So
Oh,
we'll see if that turns into anything. I haven't seen
so
much from it.
smart, Rach, though. That's
But
slick. I love that.
and just being there and being able to network and talk to people in person is huge. Like I've already gotten like 2 referrals for headshots from that. One of my brokers ran around with me at an event and he was like asking all of his friends, broker friends, he's like, who do you use for real estate photos? He was so forward. And it really helped me to like, I think, did we talk about this on the
Mm-mm.
podcast?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, it, like helped me I was having a really hard time at networking events because I'd talk to people and I'd ask them all these questions and then they'd ask me questions and it was like, it would just kind of die. Like I could never really felt confident talking about myself and like what I
Mm.
had to offer. I didn't know how to sell myself without sounding salesy. Right.
Mm.
So I was feeling gross about it when I would bring it up. Like, oh yeah, well, I'm a real estate photographer. I just felt douchey. I'm like, eh. So,
Yeah.
anyways, one of my clients took me around and he was asking these people, who do you use for real estate photos? And they'd tell him, like, a couple of them I know. And I'm like, oh, they're great. Like, continue with them. They're fantastic. You've got a good
Hmm.
one. But if I didn't know who they were or they weren't great and they were just using one of the cookie cutter, big box companies, I'm like, oh, you should. And he would say, oh, you should use Rachel and her company. She has a whole team. I've been using her for years. She's the best. Da da da. And then I would go on and kind of explain what I was doing. It was great. But
Mm.
he was so forward with it. So now I'm like, I'm
was
going to
your
ask that question.
icebreaker. Yeah.
Yes. And just a good way for me to kind of survey the field a little bit. And the thing is, like two of the brokers that are using people that I know and like, and I was like, oh, stay with them for sure. But if you ever need headshots or lifestyle photos, or if you want to do a broker commercial or social media stuff, let us know. Like we can take care of you with that. And two of them, one's reached out to do lifestyle, and the other one referred a new member on her team to get headshots from me. And that's just from staying in front of her. I followed her on social media. I've been commenting on her stuff. I've seen her at 3 events now. It's like the follow up and just getting to know that person, like on
Mm-hmm.
a personal level. And every time I see her, I ask her how her daughter's doing. She's the cutest 1 year old, like the cutest little girl. And I'm always like, oh my gosh, how's your daughter?
Yeah.
She's so darling. And you know what she told me? She goes, oh my gosh, your business card is my daughter's favorite. She carries it around the house everywhere she
That's
goes.
so cute.
It's like a velvet touch one, so it's kind of soft.
Oh,
She's like, she
interesting. Oh,
just
yeah,
likes
yeah.
the
I
way
know
it
what you mean.
feels.
Yep.
And I'm
The
like,
the velvet finish, the soft
yeah,
finish. Yeah.
I ordered those on accident. She got one. Anyways, her daughter loves it. And I was like, that's absolutely amazing that she
That's
carries
cool.
around my card everywhere.
That is.
So yeah,
She's not going to forget you, right?
she's
Oh
not.
my
She's not.
gosh.
Yeah.
So
So
I love
yeah.
that angle actually. So I just went to Keller Williams. They had this big charity event and we donated a headshot session to be auctioned. It was a, a bidding auction kind of thing for
Mhm.
charity, right? So we donated a headshot. So we got our little plaque there with our name and people bid on it. Somebody wins and we do their headshot for free. The networking at that thing was great. There was a couple of my agents who introduced me without me even asking to
Nice.
the people that were their friends. They're like, hey, who do you guys use? This guy's great. So that was amazing, right? So when you get that, and I definitely got an email from one person and another person that was just checking out my booking link, and I emailed them some additional information. But what I found also with a couple other agents that were one I had worked with in the past, they left a team that I work with to work solo. Since they worked solo, they weren't getting whatever benefit they get for the listing media when they're with the team. Like I think it costs them more just paying me outright somehow. But anyway, she stopped using me. But one of the things that I found as an in was I knew it's been like a year and a half since I've worked with her. So I know she has somebody she's using, right? So I'm not
Mhm.
trying to beat her over the head with that. But what I did do, which is really nice, when you have an additional service to offer that maybe that other client does, like you just said, I did the exact same thing. I, in this case, have my wife who now does lifestyle branding stuff, dedicated stuff for social media use out of the studio. I'm like, oh, who are you using for your? I did ask, who are you using for real estate maintenance? She's, oh, I'm using this guy, so and so. I've heard good things about him. That's awesome. Just so you know, my wife also now does lifestyle branding stuff too. So if you ever need like stuff to help you do better posts and stuff, that's what this is dedicated for. Gave her my wife's card and she's like, hold on. Like, and all of a sudden, like it just flipped it right on its head that she's actually sounded interested and went and checked out our raffle and stuff. So it's like,
Nice.
oh, you know,
Look at
so
that.
there's some, yeah, I like the angle of talking to them about additional service, which I think just gets you back in their mind and back in the conversation.
Hmm.
And then I always drop the plus, hey, I know people take vacations if ever they're great. If ever they can't, they're already booked or whatever. No worries. I'm happy to help you out, even if that's your staple for TAR for now. No harm, no foul. If you need some help, I can do a listing for you too. Just let me know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally no
Yeah.
pressure, but you
Yeah.
need me for this.
And they love that. It's like, because I think feel awkward, especially like that person who I worked with in the past. They already feel awkward about it.
Hmm.
And so you just let them off the hook for it. It's a no pressure in it. And then all of a sudden, again, they're like, oh, I didn't like that person.
Yeah.
You know
Right.
what I mean?
And sometimes it's like somebody else comes into their office and offers them a deal and they like
Mhm.
them and they start working with them. And it's nothing that you did wrong. It's just that
No.
there's this other option now and they've decided to try this person out. And it's almost like they kind of just forget about you. And
Yeah, they
it's
just
like,
go down that road
yeah,
and they keep going down that road. And it's
yeah.
nothing against you. And it's hard not to take it personal. I
Oh,
will say that.
100%. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you do think about some of that stuff when there's a mindset meeting that I sit on for one of the brokerages that I work with, and they just talked about something to the scenario where the agent was upset that they had a client for years who decided to use another realtor.
Mhm.
And the agent's wife said to him, well, you do that to a lot of other agents too, right? Because And it's like, oh, that's right. Like a lot of people come over to me from working with another photographer. Like it goes
Yeah.
both ways. So
Right.
don't take it so personal, right?
Right. And that's just the nature of this business. They are always shopping around for a better deal. They're always looking for the newest and the best.
Hmm.
You're always going to have competition. They're going to come, they're going to go, they're going to come back. Some are going to leave for good. You're going to get new ones. So just don't take it to, I mean, and if you messed up and you know you messed up, like make it right, do the best
Oh,
you can. That's all you can
yeah.
do. Just beating yourself up over it is not going to be conducive to your mental health at all. So be
Yeah.
nice to yourself and know that more will come. You
Yeah,
got to
and you never
believe it.
know. You never know. They might not be happy anymore with that photographer. If you give them an out and let them off the hook, like if you want to give them grief about it, they're never coming back. But if you
Right.
give them an out, like, hey, no hard feelings. But if you ever in a jam, you gave them an in to come back. They know there's no hard feelings. Oh,
My
yeah,
guy's out of town. I'm going to use Neil again. Oh my gosh,
yeah. And
Neil's
then
great.
and then you never know. Then they start. It's happened with a couple of the girls that were my OG clients when they switched brokerages. I haven't seen them for a while. Something changed at the brokerage that they weren't getting the same deal that they originally thought they could get with this media through this other route. And now they start coming back and I'm seeing them again. It's like, oh,
Wow.
nothing personal. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I love that.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So one thing really, I was again talking to Casey again today, and I told her, I'm like, I feel like we need, well, she said we need a marketing plan going
Mm,
forward for the slow season that maps out exactly what you're going to work on and what I'm going to work on so
mm,
that we can get more done. And I was like, I love that. Like, if even if we meet every morning for 10 minutes and we discuss,
mhm.
Rachel, what are you going to do today? Because I am such like, I'm just this, I don't even know how to describe this more than like a butterfly that just flies around and does whatever I feel like doing that day. I don't know if a butterfly is the right analogy, but I'm just like boinging around, like, "Doo-doo, okay, I think I'll make a reel. Oh, I'm going to post to my story. Oh, I should probably get some B-roll of the shooters or something else, pop into a shoot. Like, it's just random. None of it's like organized. I'm just not organized, Neil, and I'm sick of it. I'm like, we could get so much more accomplished. I could be so much further in my business and have more time to work on the other things that I'm trying to work on, right? So I'm like, okay, we're
Yeah.
gonna we're gonna have a plan in
No.
place, and we're gonna have deadlines, and we're gonna have action items that we have to do like
Right.
every
Yeah. If you
week
have your
to get
goals
us
on a
closer.
list, if you have your goals on a list and once a day you assess one small thing to head in that correct direction, right? That would make a huge difference. I need to do the
Yeah,
same thing. So these
or
things that
even
I've written down, I need to chip away at them every day. Yep.
yeah, or even like reverse engineering your goal, right? So take your what's your big goal, and then just
Mhm.
figure out what you have to do to get there, like
Mhm.
every step. Write it down, make a list, write it
Right.
down on sticky notes, even better. Each sticky note is an idea of what you need to do to get there, and then
Right.
organize them and then
For
put them
example,
in order and stick them on your calendar. Be like,
yeah.
okay, today, sticky note number one.
For example, you need one new shooter
Yeah, I
to get
have.
yourself off the schedule. So you start with you need to put the word out.
Oh, I have
Right?
a
And then
guy. Oh my gosh, so weird. Okay. I like the law of attraction stuff. Like you
it's crazy.
create, like we are creators, right? Of our own destiny, like 100%. And I've seen this full unfold in front of me. Like I start thinking about something, I want something, I feel like what it's going to feel like to have it. And then it
Mhm.
just comes to me. And I've talked about it on the podcast. Like
Mhm.
doors just start opening left and right. And I'm running through them. I'm like, okay, yep, we're going to do that. It's amazing. So I was driving to a shoot. My client was going to be there. She's always there. She's great. House is always perfect. Lights are on black, like nothing out of place. She's a dream. And I walk in and we're talking, whatever. And halfway through the shoot, I was thinking on the way there, I need to find, it would be nice to have one more shooter kind of in the hopper, ready for spring if we need them. Because I've got one guy that's fully trained, but we just haven't been busy enough to send him out. So,
Mhm.
like, but he's got a full time job. So it's going to be this weird, hard switch to him working for me full time. So I'm like, if we get one more guy that has a little bit more flexibility that could fill in during the day, that would be great. So I'm thinking about this to do, and then I forget about it. I'm at the shoot, and halfway through, she's like, "Oh, my husband is interested. Are you hiring people?" And I was like, "Actually, that's so funny you mention it because I was literally thinking about it today." So
Mhm.
I got a lead there. So I still need to call him and follow up. But I looked at his Instagram, like he's a beautiful landscape photographer, which is great because he knows his way around a camera. He understands composition. That's what I love. Like, and he just wants some extra side work. He's not looking for anything crazy, not looking to build his own business. I'm like, whew, perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I told her, I go, well, if I train him up, then you're going to leave me. You're just going to use him. And she goes, no, I'll never do that. I'll still use you. I was like, okay.
Okay.
I might have to give her a discount now, a family, friends and family
Right.
discount or something. I don't know.
Yeah. There you go. There you
Anyways,
go.
so
Cool.
yeah. So it's crazy how, like, if you just think about it, you start really dialing in of what it would feel like to have that be your reality.
Hmm.
It's going to magnetize it closer to you. It's going to bring it to you faster. So, and
Start talking about it.
yep, think
Start writing
about
it
it,
down. Yep.
visualize it. Yeah. And write down what you need to
Visualize
do
it.
to get there.
Yep. So we're also going to be doing some, did I already say this? In-person classes.
No, you didn't. Ooh, fun.
So we're starting out with one of my brokerages that I get along with really well. We're going to do a in-person class for them as the first like trial of how we're going to do this and figure it out. But I feel like agents, there's a lot that they could use help with, especially as it relates to social media and on-camera stuff.
Mhm.
And so with my wife doing like the branding stuff and then me doing walkthrough videos and stuff, I just picked their brain like what would be helpful because I don't want to impose on them because I had an idea what I thought would be helpful, but what their answer was slightly different. And their answer was they want help on camera for themselves, just like at home, just using their own phone.
Mhm.
They are not confident enough with just that, just having a good presence in front of the camera. What should they be doing? What's the best way to do it? Basic good lighting, like in your house, here's a good place. If you've got a window, get in front of the window.
Mhm.
Make sure you're in a place without a lot of noise. And then here's how to do a basic, we're going to teach them how to do a basic story or a basic reel. We're ironing it out a little bit like that, but that's all it's going to be.
I love that.
A
That's
fi-
so valuable because there's so many brokers who don't even know how to post to a story.
yep.
I'm like, "What? You don't know how to add a story?" I'm like, oh boy. Okay. Which,
Hmm.
to people like you and I, Neil, have been doing social media, it feels like forever. So it's like
Yeah.
second nature, but there's so many people out there who just are clueless. They have no idea. So this is going to be very valuable.
And
And
they're
even for
afraid.
the people that do it and that attend and already know a lot of that, there's still a lot of value in how do you get comfortable on camera, right? Like, how
Hmm.
do you actually light yourself well? Like, what equipment do I need? Giving them a
Right.
basic little gear list of things they could use, and then,
Yes, exactly.
just a couple different examples of
Hmm.
ways you could film with lighting and
And I think it'll
background and
be
all that stuff.
a good gateway drug for if anyone, because even for me, before we had a studio, even in my own house, I never felt like there was a space that was good for me to record reels that I liked or that was private enough or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So they may be interested now that they're comfortable doing a reel to have an opportunity for a place to create those kinds of reels if they wanted to come once a week to the studio or something like that, or once a
Yeah.
month to the studio. And whether it's them, maybe, I'm not sure if it's them recording their own reels in the studio or if they want like a guided somebody to help them, but there
I
would
think you
definitely
could
be
offer both, Neil.
a
I think you
different
could
rate.
say you can rent the studio for an hour. It's $400 an hour, 500 bucks, whatever.
Hmm.
Or I can come help you do it for $1,000 and you get this
Right.
many reels and
And
yeah.
we'll edit the reels, and that would
Right.
be yeah, exactly what we've been talking about. Yeah, it's that like yeah, we can help you with it, and then we'll also do the back end of it. But there's that price for that premium package, or there's a you just use the space. Here's the lights they're on, and have at it. Do you
Yeah,
know what I mean?
totally. No, I think that'll be great. Yeah. How are
Yeah.
you going to tie in the real estate photography business to your presentation?
This first one, they all already use me, but
Well, that's
yeah,
good. You
that
dominate the brokerage.
yeah. Well, it's a team. It's not a brokerage. This is
Oh,
a
okay.
team
Okay.
within a brokerage.
Gotcha.
It's a good team. It's probably the best team in there, but yeah, it's not the whole brokerage. That would be wow. I'm not there. I'm sure there are photographers who are, and that's amazing. But they already know. But yes, that is part of the spiel. Whether we're talking about like a lifestyle branding, like why do you need lifestyle branding, and why do you need marketing, and why do you need a brand, and why should you be consistent? That's all stuff that Heidi's been working on actually on a course about all of that stuff. She's actually been working with somebody trying to get it accredited so that agents have to keep up their learning and all that, their education throughout the year. They need a certain number of credits or whatever to maintain their license. So we're trying to actually get accredited for something for that. I don't know if we're going to go that route or not, but at least we want to have an offering,
I think
educate them
that's
about
genius.
stuff. Yeah.
That's a
Um,
great idea. Think about that. I mean,
Yeah.
that is putting you right in front of your, I mean, it would be nationwide or would it just be a class? Probably in just your MLS, right?
Yeah, it would just be, yeah, it would be basically literally they can go a lot, some of the lenders and stuff
Mm-hmm.
at their like offices will offer things like this that agents
Mm.
come there, and it's one of the ways that they get lead generation to work with realtors. They offer this
Right.
education piece. They
Yeah.
come there, they like it, they meet the people, and then they say, well, maybe I'll use that lender, or maybe I'll use that. Oh, geez, I'm gonna blank. When they sign the contracts, help me out.
Escrow,
Closing and
title.
title.
Oh,
Thank
yeah.
you. Yeah. So there's a title company that does a lot of this. That's one of their big things that separates them is they do this a lot of this educational pieces for the realtors. That's the person my wife had been talking with in tandem with them is to maybe do it out of their office. But now that we have the studio space, we might just do it out of the studio. We're not sure yet, but yeah, she's been working on that. So that's a cool lead generation thing, I think, too. But I forgot what the question was, but that's where we ended up.
I don't know what the question is either. But
Uh,
oh, I
but yeah,
asked you how you were going to tie in your real estate
mm.
photography
So
to the
yeah, that
presentation.
there's always a spiel about, you know, and with the course, with if it's an accredited thing, there's a gray area there where you have to talk about the thing,
Yeah, you
but
wouldn't be able to promote yourself if that were
that's
the
right.
case. Yeah.
That's right. If it's not that, then yeah, absolutely, we have a little spiel about this is who we are, this is what we do.
Okay.
Otherwise,
Cool.
otherwise it's more of a soft sell.
Yeah.
You have your business cards, they can grab them, but you're not talking directly about those things if it's
You
not
need
part
to
of the
talk
course.
directly. If you're going to go in an office and teach and give that much value, they need to know that you also do real estate photography and you're freaking awesome. So
Yeah, if
say
it's an
that.
accredited thing, it's a different set
Right.
of rules.
Right, right,
But
right.
yeah,
I mean, if it's
yeah.
a recorded course, I'm saying you're in person stuff when you're actually in the office teaching. Because that's what I've realized. Like, I just went to a content insider event and they talked all about content. They had like one of the big wigs from, I think he's with Windermere. Like, I don't even, he's famous within Windermere. He's like huge. Anyways, whatever. He spoke. And then they had one influencer there. She has like a ton of followers. And then they
Mm,
had a gal fly in from San Diego. She has a huge presence on video. Then they had a younger kid who does video who's just killing it. And then another guy who does lifestyle, not even like real estate. He just does lifestyle and helps people with lifestyle branding and
mm,
personal branding. And they all spoke on this panel and answered questions. And it was so valuable. And the audience was just like locked in talking about, their content strategy and their distribution and where they film and how often and what percentage of time do they actually spend doing this kind of video marketing. And two of them
mm.
said 50% of the time they are creating content for their
Wow.
business and working on
Wow.
content for and I'm like, whoa, that's a lot.
50% of their day?
Yes. So these people, I mean, but this is one of their main ways to advertise, right? Like you want to pick 3 ways to advertise your business and stick with it for years. Like
Mm,
pick what you're going to do and stay with it. That's where you're going to see the results instead of bouncing around. But here's what was missing from that event. It was great information, right? Like one of my clients who I did social media reels for today, he was there and we filmed at a house. He came completely unprepared. I was like, okay, what are we doing for your agent intro? He's like, I don't know. I'm going to lean on you for that. And I was like, okay, great. Here we go. Rachel, get in a creative mood. I'm like, all right, what's the problem we're solving for the buyer? Like, what does
mm,
this house have that's not obvious? That's always what I ask people. We
mm,
ended up getting to it and I had to help him like curate the first line and like the inflection. Like, there were so many things that were so basic that were missed that he didn't get from that content insider. And I was just thinking, gosh, they just need like a 101 course on how to speak, how to deliver lines, how to prepare, what to say. I already emailed this guy and said, hey, let's set up a meeting. We need to do a discovery call. We need to figure out what your content strategy is, who your target market is, who you're trying to attract, what things you want to talk, what are your pillars, what do you want to talk about? I'm like, I will help you with all of this. I have worksheets and exercises you can do. I've done this with other real estate photographers, mentoring them, helping them with this, all of this. Like I know what I'm doing. And he's just so busy. He's been putting me off, putting me off. So today I gave him shit. I was like, we were supposed to have a meeting to talk about this. He was like, I know, I know. He's
yeah.
like, Thursdays and Fridays are best. I'm like, okay, I'll send you a Calendly link. So I'm sending him a link. We're going to do it. But I had to just come up with stuff on the fly. And he was hilarious. Like he even said to me, he goes, okay, now I get why you don't want to do this social media stuff with brokers. Like we're terrible. Like, Yeah, you
Right?
gotta get it now. I'm like, well, once you've done it enough, you get comfortable. It's easy, but it's
Yeah.
like the fact that you have to actually do it a lot to get comfortable. There's like a learning curve.
Hmm.
And it just is about repetition. Like you're not going
Yeah.
to be great until you've done it multiple times. It takes time to
No,
learn it
it
and to do it
does.
well. And it's just those core basics that they need. So for me, I'm like, all right, here's what I would love to set up is like a workshop, maybe a 2 or 3 hour workshop where we
Yep.
talk about prepping, how to get comfortable on camera, delivering the lines, like changing your camera angle, movement, stuff like that. And then get out the gimbal and show them physically how you can push in,
Yep.
how you can do a radius turn, how you can
Hmm.
pan up and down. Because after that content insider that I was at that event, one of the girls came up to me and she was like, "Oh, I know that you were mentioned within," because Dan Redwine from the master plan was the moderator. So he
Hmm.
mentioned me quite a bit in the stories he was telling about video work. And so she came up, she was like, "Oh, I know that you were mentioned and you do a lot of this stuff. Can you just show me like how you use that Osmo?" Because I had my little stabilizer with my phone. I was playing,
Hmm.
making my own little reel when I was there. And I was like, "Oh yeah." So I literally showed her and she videotaped me doing it. And I was like, "Send that to me." She never did. I never got her number,
Ah.
my number. I'm like, I have this on video. Like that would be a great piece of content to put out there. But it was like just that right there, like teaching them how to use the equipment that we keep recommending,
Yep.
showing them
That's
how
right.
to put together a reel in CapCut, like the basics, like a 101 class. And then maybe we have a
Hmm.
102 class that they can come to next. You know what I mean? But like doing it once and recording it and then making it into some kind of educational thing that I can promote on my social or in my newsletter or on my YouTube. Those are the projects that I want to do that
Yeah.
I am so passionate about. Like
Yeah, you should.
that's fun. So maybe that's my goal. I have too many freaking
Hmm.
goals, Neil. But
Well, if you're
yeah,
not in the field, you can focus on that stuff, and that's going to
exactly.
build connections with them really well. Same thing, what I've been thinking about for wanting to create more reels about, but also wanting to do in the in-person classes with them because I've realized that yeah, I've started talking about it. You know, I would say start moving in that direction. I've started talking about it with my agents when I see them on site, and we'll talk about like, yeah, it's not enough though just to do the videos for the walkthrough videos. You should also be doing stuff on your own. If
Hmm.
I really want you to grow, that's the advice that you need to hear is that you need to be doing stuff on your own as well as the stuff that your video creator can create for you. And so when I mention that to them, then I start to hear the like, oh yeah, I would like some help with that. And like literally the other day, a girl said, "Oh yeah, I've got one of those stabilizer things, but I never figured out how to use it." I'm like, well, I'm thinking about doing some classes where I could literally, you one-on-one class
Hands
and
on, right?
show you how to use your gimbal and what you should be
Mhm.
doing. And she's like, oh, that would be great. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah.
there
Yes,
is a
please.
need. There is a need is what I'm
There is a huge
uncovering.
need. And
Right.
every conference they go to, they're being told, get on camera, get on camera, get
Hmm.
on camera. And they're just like, what do I'm really bad on camera. I don't know what to say.
Right.
I'm like, just in your stories, document your day. Just literally take video clips of what you're doing throughout the day and post it. And then
Yeah.
market updates, talk about your favorite restaurants. What do you do for fun? Like make some of it personal because people aren't following, like people, when they want to buy a house, that's a very small window of time in their life. So yes, they're going to follow you on social media because they want to buy a house, but then after they buy the house, why would they still follow you? That was something
Hmm.
that I learned from
It's a
the
good point.
Content Insider, which was such a good point. It's like, oh yeah, you've got to have some kind of relatability to like, I am a foodie and I'm going to show you all the best restaurants in Seattle,
Hmm.
right? Or
Yeah.
I
Right.
love
Because in 2 years, when they want to sell a house again or buy a house
Mhm.
again, they will have forgotten about you if all you're talking about is what's new on the market. Right.
Right. Yeah. You have to have something where they can relate to you. So it's
Hmm.
important to understand who your target market is too and what they're into. So you can
Yeah.
kind of tailor it to their specific needs. But you want to
And
be
when you're
authentic to
doing
yourself too.
And when you're offering these additional things outside of just being a listing photographer, when you're offering additional assistance, something that they need help with, you are providing another level of value that makes you more important to them than the other 100 photographers in your area.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, Neil, we have so much. We should make a course on how to train your brokers to be better on camera. Let's do it. Should that be our next course, guys?
Maybe
Please let us know.
that's
That'd be fun.
also our homework for the slow season 2 is more courses. that would help, we do have our course on headshot photography, which is another staple that both Rachel and I do through the slow season to make extra money. So if you guys haven't checked that out, you should totally check it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it'd be really fun to create a course on social media marketing because that's something I haven't seen a lot of educators talk about that for our niche. I mean, there's a lot, obviously, a ton of people who can teach you how to do social media and stuff, but it hasn't been tailored to our niche. And I feel like I've kind of mastered it. It's been really fun.
Yeah.
And I think we could add a lot of value there. And I think
Yeah,
there's a need. There's a lot of people that have asked me, hey, can you, how do you do your social media? How do you do this? Like that kind of
and
stuff.
that's another tip for everybody. Just when you're talking to your clients, if you've been asked a question even once, but as soon as you start to hear it more than once, start paying attention. Your ears should be perking up because
Oh,
there's a
there's a
need there. There's something that's not being fulfilled they need help with, and you could be the solution.
Yep. And products that sell are products that solve a problem. So if you can think, or services that solve a problem. So if you have something that your clients need help with and you have a solution to their problem, you could sell that. Okay, I have to go eat dinner.
Cool.
I'm going to pass out if I don't eat. No, I'm kidding. But I'm excited for slow season. I'm so excited to
Yeah.
work on some of this stuff and
We're
just be
we're gonna
more
get some stuff
organized.
done.
I'm
Yeah.
like, Casey, I need you to tell me every day what I need to do for the day. And you need to hold, like, if I don't do it, there needs to be a consequence. Like I owe you $20 or something. 'Cause
Mm.
I'm like kind of a free bird. Yeah. So it's going to be good.
I still can't get past the visual of you as a butterfly. I pictured a butterfly with a Rachel head, just so you know, and little antenna, just like la 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 la
That
la
should
la
be the cover
la.
photo for this podcast.
What?
I love it.
Oh, that's great. That's perfect
Okay.
visual. And we'll end on that beautiful visual. Everyone enjoy Butterfly Rachel, and we'll see you on the next one.
Have a wonderful evening.
La
Bye.
la 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 la.